Thank you for joining me today. This is Beyond Barbering live from Gentleman Barber. You know my name, damn it. Mitchell T. Palmer coming to you from the library inside the executive room at Gentleman Barber. And today I want to cover a question. New episode to Gentleman Barbers Beyond Barbering Live. Questions from clients. Today's question comes from a longtime client, a good friend of mine. His name is Haden Butikofer. Haden asks me, how long have I been a barber? What haircuts or haircut do I prefer to do? What's my favorite? And what do I like most about barbering? Well, I'd like to dive right into this. So if you will, pardon me while I play a little background music. I'm going to start with your last question first, Haden. I'm going to say that what I like most about barbering is the people that I get to barber for. I know that sounds forced, but it's the honest truth. My job is not a job because I show up to work and I spend my whole day with some of the best people that God has ever created. And He has brought them through their motivation into my life. That is irreplaceable to me. There's nothing about the good people that support this business of mine that can be replaced. Your second question, what's my favorite haircut to do? I'm going to switch over to my handy little tablet. First of all, I'm going to grab my little pointer stick. And we're going to look at a couple of images. The first image here is what I like to refer to as the classic taper. Just a classic haircut. This one has been around for a long time. Doesn't seem to go out of style, doesn't seem to ever get old and boring, and works for a variety of different men. A couple of things I want to point out here is, if you will notice, I'm going to use my little laser pointer. Back here at the neckline, we have a nice full taper, not too light. You can see as the hair goes from skin into haircut, nice and smooth. This texture or this length and lightness in color should match this area from the top of the ear to the top of the bottom of the sideburn to the point of the temple. There's a triangle right in there. If you can see that, see if I can point it out this way. Right in this triangle, these lengths, these darknesses and lightnesses should match one another, and they do. This haircut looks pretty good. That is a great example of a nice classic tapered haircut. Nice full head of hair on this young man. This is a little bit more of a light or medium taper. And if you'll notice here, a little bit lighter in this area around the neckline. Now for my money, this haircut in this area, that triangle from point of the temple, bottom of the sideburn to the top of the ear, that should be a little lighter on this haircut to match that neckline, and especially this area behind the ear. Big reason for that a lot of the time is because that area of the hair tends to grow in a little faster. So a haircut looks fuzzier, faster in those areas if you don't get the consistency right. Let's move back to the tablet. I have a couple more photos I'd like to show you. A Pompadour, a nice classic haircut, maybe not as classic as the old classic taper, but here you're going to see a little bit lighter here in this area. Again, from the point of the temple to the top of the ear and the sideburn. This is the area that you want to match. We can't see in this particular haircut, you can't see the back of the hairline, but you can make it out a little bit back in this area. Those lightnesses, the lengths should match. Really beautiful head of hair on this guy. There's nobody on the planet that wore a classic haircut, in my opinion, better than my hero, Humphrey Bogart. If you look at that area right in front of his ear, to the top of his sideburn, to the point of his temple. Beautiful, beautiful job of making that haircut look good. And nobody wore it better than Bogey. There he is with his pinstripe double breast, his wristwatch, his pocket square, and his overcoat. Cigarette hanging out there in his fingers. I know that's not popular anymore, but that was the ultimate sign of a tough guy back then. When you have a classic haircut like Bogey wore, you get to hang out with the likes of Ingrid Bergman and drink champagne with her. You tell me this shouldn't be everybody's go-to haircut. Here he is a little bit older. I would probably call this more of an Ivy League haircut, really short on the sides and back and longer on top. Guys like Anderson Cooper from CNN fame wore a haircut like this. A little later in his life when he was a little grayer. This worked out really well for Bogey as well. As you can see, gets to hang out with girls and look at the way she's looking at him. I mean, my goodness, you're a hero there. And I'm going to throw this in just for fun because I thought this was kind of funny. There's Bogey's ultimate rebellious nature. Paris is for lovers. And he says, maybe that's why I stayed here only 35 minutes. So, once again, my final argument for the classic tapered haircut. Now, apart from my wife, boys, there's no better woman to hang out with than Lauren Bacall. And look what that classic haircut did for Bogey. Look at him in his tweed, hanging out. The classic beauty from Hollywood fame. So there's my answers to your questions, Haden. I've been barbering for about 13 years now. I started barber school in 2009. Coming up on 2022, my 14-year anniversary. I'll start my 14th year then. In the meantime, please ask some questions. Put some comments in here if you'd like. And thank you very much to my friend Haden for his question. Before I leave, I have to reset my camera here so it doesn't turn off on me automatically. Because I have to say, God bless every one of you. God bless America, the greatest nation that ever existed on God's green earth. Merry Christmas to everyone. And be good. Or don't get caught.